Reacher's Season 2 finale delivers an explosive happy ending. The Season 2 finale of Reacher delivers what audiences expected, from elaborate action sequences to almost impossible feats of strength. Series star Alan Ritchson has a long history with superheroes, playing Aquaman in Smallville and Hawk in Titans. Of those two characters, Jack Reacher is more like the latter. While he doesn't have the flamboyant fashion sense of Hawk, his character would fit right in with Batman, the Punisher, or any of the darker costumed vigilantes. Rather than the costumed fare of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC's various shared live-action continuities, Reacher is inspired by action movies. Action movie characters from the 1980s onwards have always been comic book characters, just without the source material. The key difference between the superheroes of his past and the ex-US Army Criminal Investigation Division officer Ritchson currently plays falls squarely in morality. He and his fellow members of the now-defunct 110th Special Investigators Unit don't need a superhero code. As military police officers, it didn't really matter if the suspects ended up in cuffs or in a cold storage drawer somewhere. This is how it ends for the villains in Reacher Season 2. Most of them end up dead, even those who could have been captured. Extrajudicial executions are just part of the Reacher formula, though. While his morality wouldn't fly with Superman or Spider-Man, all the right people end up dead. In fact, the most surprising development is all of his friends make it out alive, too. Well, not Detective Guy Russo, killed in New York's finest trying to protect a child from hitmen. It doesn't get more true blue heroic than that. Over half the members of the 110th are dead, so the victory still feels bittersweet for the characters. But for the audience, it's less so because the characters they spent the most time with all survived. And they're all rich now, too. Presuming a 9-way split of the money, each person gets more than $7 million. That's a lot of toothbrushes and bus tickets. Though, knowing Reacher, he probably barely kept any of the cash. Flyboy is a great episode for Robert Patrick, whose appearances as Stephen Langston were mostly limited to the other side of phone calls. Despite Richson's formidable stature, Patrick's performance shows why he's still a giant. Langston is equal parts hateful and pathetic. He's no mustache-twirling baddie either. He's just a corrupt guy trying to retire on blood money whose plan got out of hand. This works better than making him some ideologue or giving him some more complex motivation. That all this pain and death came from simple greed makes his ultimate comeuppance even more satisfying. Unlike Reacher, he has no sense of loyalty, honor, or even fair play. Ferdinand Kingsley's AM comes face to face with the special investigators for the first time, too. Unlike Langston, AM presents no challenge at all. They summarily execute him after he makes a baffling attempt to justify being an international arms dealer. All the asides showing him brutally murdering people along the way weren't about setting him up as a formidable adversary. Rather, these scenes were included as that he deserved his fate. Again, he could have been taken into custody when Reacher's Homeland Security friends arrived. The second season of Reacher came in with high expectations, building on the success of its first season, which captivated audiences with its brutal action sequences, dry humor, and a protagonist that brought Lee Child's iconic character, Jack Reacher, to life. Fans hoped the follow-up would provide more of the same while deepening the storyline and raising the stakes. The finale of Season 2 certainly didn't disappoint. It delivered an explosive, high-octane ending that balanced intense action with a surprisingly satisfying emotional resolution, providing both closure and excitement for what might come next. An escalation of stakes throughout the second season, the stakes have been steadily escalating for Jack Reacher. While Season 1 was more of a personal revenge thriller, the second season expanded Reacher's world, putting him at the center of a much larger conspiracy. As a lone wolf who always operates on his own terms, Reacher is often pulled into situations that challenge his moral compass and push him to his limits physically. By the time the season finale rolled around, everything was on the line, not just for Reacher, but for the people he had come to care about, a theme that resonated strongly throughout the final episode. The finale begins with Reacher piecing together the last clues of a sprawling conspiracy that threatened national security. Without giving too much away, the plot involves a dangerous group with powerful connections, forcing Reacher to navigate murky waters of corruption, betrayal, and deception. The tension is palpable as Reacher moves closer to the final showdown, knowing that he may have to sacrifice more than just his own safety to bring down the villains. The action sequences leading up to the climax are executed with precision, showcasing Reacher's skills in hand-to-hand combat and his tactical brilliance. The explosive climax, one thing Reacher does exceptionally well is choreography. Whether it's a close-quarters brawl or a large-scale explosion, the action feels visceral and raw. The finale's climactic sequence is no different. Reacher finds himself up against overwhelming odds in an intense standoff that is as much a test of his wits as it is of his brute strength. The scene culminates in a spectacular explosion that symbolizes the destruction of the nefarious plot and, metaphorically, the dissolution of the emotional walls Reacher has carefully maintained throughout the season. The explosive ending is not only a literal firework display, but a culmination of the building tension that has threaded through the season. Reacher, true to form, handles everything with a level of calm determination that fans of the character will find satisfying. However, this time around, there's a layer of vulnerability that peeks through his stoic exterior. He isn't just fighting for justice, but for the people who have come to depend on him. An unexpected happy ending. While many expected a brutal, perhaps tragic end, the season finale of Reacher takes a slightly different approach by offering an unexpected happy ending. Throughout the show, Reacher has been portrayed as a drifter, a man who never stays in one place and who rarely forms deep attachments. His lifestyle is that of a nomad, moving from one town to the next, righting wrongs wherever he goes. But by the end of Season 2, we see hints of a change. Reacher's relationships, particularly with those who fought alongside him during the season, play a key role in this shift. He has always been a solitary figure, preferring to keep others at a distance to avoid emotional entanglement. However, in this finale, the bonds he has forged prove to be an important factor in how the story concludes. There's a sense of resolution, not just in the defeat of the season's villains, but in Reacher's personal growth. He allows himself to feel the connection with those around him, even if only for a fleeting moment. The final scene, which might have been expected to end with Reacher walking away into the sunset alone, takes a different turn. Instead, there's a moment of quiet reflection where Reacher chooses to stay a little longer. The sense of closure for the characters surrounding him gives a strong emotional payoff, and for once, Reacher looks at peace, not entirely free of his internal demons, but at least willing to embrace the present. This twist feels like a fitting conclusion to a season that has explored not just action and thrills, but the complexities of human connection. Setting the stage for the future despite the happy ending, the door is left wide open for future seasons. Reacher's world is full of threats, and as much as he might desire peace, it's clear that trouble has a way of finding him. The finale hints at unresolved threads that could easily be picked up in Season 3, with a tease of larger forces lurking in the shadows, waiting to challenge Reacher once again. For fans of Reacher, the Season 2 finale delivered everything they could have hoped for: intense action, a satisfying conclusion to the season's central mystery, and a glimpse into the softer side of Jack Reacher. It's a rare blend of explosive excitement and emotional depth, leaving audiences eager for the next chapter in Reacher's journey. Whether he stays put or hits the road again, one thing is certain: wherever Reacher goes next, the adventure will be worth the ride.